Hello and welcome to Full Time on Fulhamish. We're here at the Old Suffolk Punch on the Fulham Palace Road. My name is Jack Collins. I'm joined by Dom Betts.
Hello.
And Farrell Monk, this football hipster in a Puerto Rico shirt.
Hola, amigos.
Yeah, there we are. So we've just lost 5-1 to Arsenal, and while we are quite jovial, things weren't particularly good at the cottage today. Dom, your opening thoughts, please.
I mean, I'd rather not talk about it, but
if we have to talk about Fulham.
I woke up this morning about 11:15. I was like, oh, we're playing today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just about made a game, 2 minutes in. I thought first half we played relatively well, I would say. I mean, if we look straight to their first goal, I think at the time you think, oh, yes, you should be doing better. It's a great turn and finish by Alexander Lacazette, but that second ball, once he turns, there needs to be player pressing him, because there was no pressing our defence today.
Yeah, really
we were playing a high line and then not pressing the Arsenal attack. It makes literally no sense. So for me, I was expecting to lose today. I think I said 3-1 before the game. So it was just the way we played. Like, the tactics were right to play Arsenal, but we didn't deploy them in the right way.
Farrell, were we just beaten by a better team?
Yeah, I do believe so. I think the quality showed throughout the 90 minutes of the game. The actual hour that I saw, because I actually didn't get in until 35 minutes in.
Why were you so late? He at least was so late. What was your excuse?
Ticket office. I was borrowing a...
Sort it out, Fulham.
I know. Fulham Supporters Trust meeting coming up soon. There's going to be some issues.
We'll discuss it at the 2:15.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, back to the game, back to the important things that you guys have tuned in for. But the quality showed throughout the whole game. I thought that from what I saw, I thought Fulham did actually play tactically quite well, and it really did only change when we had to bring Tim Ream off, which I'm not entirely sure was injury related. I didn't see him. It seemed like a surprise to him that he was coming off. When we decided to change the shape of the team, it just wasn't working. Our fullbacks, who are now we can actually see that our fullbacks are definitely wing backs and did really well. Ryan Sessegnon in particular played very, very well in that wing back position. Really affected the game. Really stifled Hector Bellerin before he changed to playing left back. Cyrus Christie was actually okay playing wing back. When he went to full back, I thought we were just exploited so much. There was so much more space for Arsenal to play in between our lines. I think that's why we brought off Anguissa for McDonald. Yeah. McDonald started stifling in between the lines, but we were just overrun time and time again.
I think with that McDonald substitution, in a way it was the right decision to make, but it didn't. But then we changed our system and it didn't work, because we're playing this system which we're playing a high line, we're pressing in, we bring on arguably our slowest player, which simply doesn't work. And Anguissa, yes, didn't play well, but for me, he was critical to the system with his mobility and his pace, whereas McDonald doesn't bring that, and I think that is it. Yes, he's McDonald, I love McDonald, but for me, the substitutions today were awful.
I think there's something to be said. So obviously we looked at the lineup to begin with. If you look at the Fulhamish graphics, we had it down as a 4-2-3-1 in the way that we were playing. It wasn't that at all. No, it was a 3 at the back with wing backs, 2 in the middle, and the two behind.
Ben Jarman with his.
Jarman got it right. So I think the thing is that we looked more solid in the first half with that 3 at the back. The wing backs, like Farrell said just a minute ago, did seem to kick on a little bit and really did start to cause problems offensively and work at parts defensively, especially down Sessegnon's side. Is that what we're going to see going forward?
I hope so, because if you look at our wing backs or full backs, whatever the fuck you want to call them, right? They work so much better there, and also we have a lot of our centre backs are ball playing centre backs.
Yes.
So Adoy, Lamarchon, Ream, Mawson, they're all comfortable on the ball, so it clearly works. I think we all know Schürrle works better off the striker instead of out wide left or out wide right.
Yep.
So
same with Vieto, who's not a winger by trade; he's a converted striker.
Exactly. If you look at Vieto at his season with Villarreal, I know he was out and out number 9, but he scored 20 odd goals. But he's coming off a main striker, and that's what he needs. The only reason he couldn't get into the Atletico Madrid team is because they've got Griezmann and Diego Costa and Angel Correa. So I think this system suits our players quite a lot. And yes, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 has been the system that Sabitzer has deployed in the last couple of years. But you've got to pick the best system that fits your players. And for me, after watching that first half performance, it fits us to an absolute T.
Where does it leave Tom Kearney though? If Tom Kearney comes back there's no 10 in that system. There's not room for
unless you revert it to a 3-5-2 with a number 10 in behind two forwards. That's the only way I can see it working.
There's a very interesting point you've raised there about Tom Kearney. There's kind of a balance that you have to do with your squad of players. You've got to have a system that's going to win the game, but the right players need to actually be able to play that system, and that's what Slavisa has done in the past couple of years. He's brought in the right players playing the system, and the ones that we've always argued about, where's we should be playing these players, we should be playing that player, when actually they don't necessarily fit into the system. And Slav has been quite ruthless about that, and that's what necessarily he's doing at the start of the season. He's looking at all these new players, he's looking at the current players and playing them in different positions and playing them around, and hopefully we will see the fruits of the hard work and actually writing off some of these results against Arsenal.
Yeah.
I've got real sort of confidence this team, potentially this team is huge, and hopefully it will start to happen very, very quickly. But with Kearney, where does that leave Kearney? If we think that our best system at the moment is playing wing backs, and I think it does work, especially with Sessegnon and Christie and our ball playing centre backs, and also getting players closer to Mitrovic, because that's one thing we did see when we did convert off. That there was no one around Mitrovic when the ball was going towards him.
Yeah, I think it's crucial to look at it like that. But that said, it's one win in 8 and a load of naive mistakes again today. Can we keep writing games off?
I think, yeah, you can, because the way I look at any Premier League season for a team around our position, of our calibre, around our position is top 6 home and away, don't expect anything. Away, you take a point unless it's against Huddersfield or Cardiff. So I think the only games you can really be annoyed at is 2, possibly 3, in Palace, Brighton and Watford. Watford, I think, was an expected result because they won 4 out of the first 5 games. Yeah. Palace, okay, that's a game you don't want open game this season. And also Brighton,
that's the game that annoys everyone.
Yeah, getting a point at Brighton is great, but you've got to take it into the context of the game. We're 2-0 up. Have to see that out.
That's what Tim Ream said. He said that the whole squad were annoyed about the Brighton result.
The rest of the game, we keep talking about this over and over again, about Slavisa's game management. Another team, a more well-established Premier League team, would get to 2-0 and manage the game better, whereas we didn't. We kept on going the same way.
I also do think, though, that there is only 2 games where I don't think we've had a bad season so far. I don't think we've had a good season. It's just been, it's not where we should be, but it's just average so far. So you've got to look at our next few games. That's where
we test ourselves.
Yeah,
that's the marker we lay. Yeah, I think that's kind of crucial. We've got an international break now. I know that we said this before, and that this is where Slav has to make that defence work. But let's look at the bright spots. Maxime Le Marchand, I thought, had a good game.
I do agree. I thought we spoke about our preferred 11, and none of us really thought about having Le Marchand in the team. And if we were, it probably might be at left back to accommodate Sessegnon playing forward. And I saw Le Marchand on the team sheet, and I thought he was playing left back. So I was like, oh, this is a bit of a rogue choice. Yeah, it's a bit of a rogue choice, a bit of a gamble. But at centre back, his quality is there. He is almost a Tim Ream kind of clone in a way. He plays like him. He looks like him. It's good. And I think that him and Ndoye did play okay together. But I think the real issue that we're kind of skirting around here is that, and you kind of touched on it about McDonald. There are too many players in our squad who, unfortunately, aren't good enough for the Premier League. I think one of them is, unfortunately, Kevin McDonald. I think one of them is Stefan Johansson, and I think one of them is Cyrus Christie. I think Cyrus Christie didn't have a particularly bad game. I think it would be unnecessary to criticise him just.
At the moment, Cyrus Christie is in the team on default.
Yeah, but also let's talk about this, because Cyrus Christie had a bad game today. No one is disputing that. Oh, that Farrell is apparently. But I thought Cyrus Christie had a bad game, and I'm a Cyrus Christie fan. We all know this. But he was our only attacking outlet. When Sessegnon and Christie went back to fullbacks, there was no game from Sessegnon to push up and give us an option down that side. And we kept going down Christie's side, so therefore he had no option but to keep.
Our problem is in that when we revert to forward and back, right, so it's 4-2-3-1, right? The left and the right hand side of the attackers are so sort of inside, attacking on the inside and on the middle thirds, that the fullbacks have to bomb on, and that's always going to catch you out. And I think that
it worked last year because we were so dominant in possession.
Yeah. Cyrus Christie, for me, he's a good wing back because he's going to bomb forward. But the problem is that our wing backs aren't identical in the way they play, so it counteracts sort of the system in a way. So I think we've got to work out who's the best. And obviously Cyrus Christie is the only player we can really play there. The only other right back. No, but you've got Marlon Fossey and Steven Sessegnon.
He's a centre back. I think we've worked that. He's a kind of Dennis Adoy kind of clone, if we're going to put him in that category, in that he's not particularly big, but he seems comfortable in possession, and the way that he played at Millwall was that right centre half kind of role.
Which is maybe the way forward. We've got to utilise some of these other players that can play. That's that balance we were talking about before about, having a style of play to win games, but having the players to play in that system as well. And maybe we start utilising other players in and around to actually play. They might not be the best players, but they might be the best players to play in that particular system.
We spoke about this. At the moment, I feel like, well, maybe not today, but recently, Slav is trying to shoehorn his best players into an 11 instead of playing a system which is going to work and pick the players that fit that system. I know it's an anomaly, but if you look at when Leicester won the league, let's say, or any successful side, the successful Simeone Atletico Madrid side, right?
He picks players that play the right position.
He picks players that fit the system he wants to play. And that's the way you win football games. That's
Roy Hodgson as well.
Yeah, you don't win football games by by shoehorning your best 11 players into a starting lineup.
Well, that's what Everton did last year by playing. They were like, we got Sigurdsson, we need to play him, but we also need to play Ross Barkley, and they were playing Sigurdsson out on the left wing just to put him in the team. And look how that went for Koeman.
What do we look at going forward? Where do we take out of this, and what do we apply going into Cardiff?
I think that we look at the first half, we do play well, so deploy that system against Cardiff.
But is Cardiff a game where we actually can control possession and therefore we should switch back to a system that exploits the wings?
I think the 3-5-2 suits our best players.
Yes.
Right?
Aside from Tom Kearney.
Aside from Kearney, who I don't think is in our top 3 or 4 players. Right? So, I think you deploy a system which is going to make your best players most effective. And for me, it is that 3 at the back system. So, against Cardiff, right, you've got 2 weeks to work on this. Who's going away on international break? Kearney? Not going to go. Bettinelli?
Yeah.
I don't think Kearney McDonald has been called up.
McDonald has.
McDonald has, okay. So, for me, you have to work.
Cyrus is out.
You have to work on the system, though. Work on the system, because you've got to deploy a system that works. It's not about the players.
Yeah.
It simply is. It's about a system that's going to be effective. And any team who has any success in this league, I'm not saying we're going to have success in this league, but you need to have a system that works. It's just how you are successful.
But the problem is, I absolutely agree with you in terms of, against the kind of Arsenals, the Man Cities, even Everton away, that's a tricky fixture for us. They're the games you play 3 at the back. But the games you want to win, are we still sticking with that system, or are we looking at reverting to that? Because at that point, Fulham have to have 2 systems that we can work with.
I can't imagine Slavisa's going to turn around and change the system all of a sudden.
I think he is. I think his hand was forced today, but a little bit by the fact that we don't actually have an active left back.
But when I say system, I'm not talking about the formation. I think we passing exactly. The way that we play, regardless of the formation, we're still going to play that exact same way every single game. And to be honest, we know that we can go to Cardiff in a couple of weeks' time and absolutely dominate them. And we know Cardiff are frauds. We know they're really, really weak.
That's going to come back to haunt you. I hate you to say that.
But if they are going to win, they're going to win by some form of shithouse.
No, Alfie Mawson needs to play in that game because he's 6'2" and he heads the ball away.
Also, with Cardiff, right, they don't concede lots of goals. They're like West Brom last season. They lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, whatever. But the thing is, against them, we beat them 4-2 last year. 4-2. I know it was quite convincing. Yeah, quite convincingly. They saw that won the goal from Zahore. Phenomenal goal. Oh, yeah, but I think I think for us, we need to find a system that fits in our best. Just think about it. We need Mitrovic to find a system that plays well to him. We know Schürrle plays better behind the striker.
And
Vieto. So for me, yes, you may say, it may not suit the way we like to play, but if it makes our team play better, then you have to deploy.
More bright sparks before we carry on a little bit further. Seri and Anguissa, I thought, Anguissa didn't have a brilliant game, but he was everywhere, and JMS looked much more in control than he has done in recent weeks.
My problem with I haven't got a problem with Anguissa. My problem was bringing McDonald on for Anguissa, because then it fucking just gets rid of the system. It gets rid of it.
Yeah, because obviously Anguissa has the mobility to move. He lost the ball a lot today, and his touch wasn't great, but every time he did lose the ball, he went charging after it and won it back.
Anguissa won so much today, and but same as the difference is with Seri though. With Seri, I didn't feel, he didn't really bite enough. He didn't really get involved in the tackle too much. He didn't really he brings enough to this Fulham team that he shows his quality. What's the weird thing about him? And it's not a huge criticism of him. The amount of times he looks like he's about to play himself into trouble, but still somehow gets away with it. But I'm like, does he really need to? He keeps turning into trouble and then sort of makes
a
pass.
Without Kearney, Seri has so much responsibility on his shoulders, because without him, he is the sole creative outlet. Maybe
in the midfield,
in the field. You got Vieto obviously behind Mitrovic, but I think he is the only creative midfielder if we're not playing Kearney, which is a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. But again, as we said, we're playing a top 6 side at home. They won their last 8 games on the shoulders.
Also, 2 of those goals come in the last 10 minutes when we broke out. We had to try and push for the game. We got caught on the break twice. The Ramsey goal's a wonder goal, although Fulham very naive. Yeah. Someone clip it. Someone take the card. And that's what I do think we're lacking a little bit of bite in the middle. Not tenacity, because I think people work hard, and that kind of. I think that does a disservice to work. No, it doesn't disservice to work.
The only person that actually did that though was Sessegnon when he was playing wing back. He was the only one that was more anticipating stuff, getting to that first ball and launch. And
Brian Sessegnon wouldn't clip someone if they literally, killed his mother. He'd still be like, oh yeah, fair enough. He doesn't have a nasty streak, and that's not, is a criticism to a point, but it's because he's so good, he doesn't have that in his game and won't have it, and that's fine. But at this point right now, we need a bit of nastiness, and we just don't have it.
Well, I mean, that's basically the criticism of Arsenal for the last 3 years before today.
I did think that Mitrovic and Xhaka were going to have it out, and they didn't, and I was really upset.
It's very annoying. Granted, the thing is, today is it's not a throwaway game, but it's a game you expect to lose. I know you don't expect to go into a game to lose, but you're like, okay, they'll win.
If we got anything out of it, it would have been a vote.
Exactly. You've got to look at the games you've got coming up as the games you target.
Yeah.
You've got to look at Cardiff, you've got to look at Huddersfield. I know Bournemouth won 4-0 at Watford the other day, but you've got to look at that to target points. It's a home game against a team who's not in the top 6 or 7, and you've got to look to get points there. So I think, as I said earlier, we haven't lost points in games that's unexpected, apart from maybe Palace.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to look on the positive side. We've got to work on a system that works. We've got to stick to a system that works, stick to the players that work. That's why we've been so effective the last couple of years. Because we know the team. Last season, right, the only thing we didn't know was who's playing right wing. Whereas this season, we're like, well, who's playing anyway?
Well, this is literally what we were saying before about, the last couple of games we put the podcast sort of like preferred 11, and bar like 1 or 2 like really weird surprises, like we've got it pretty much spot on. Today we've got pretty much all the same players apart from the Marchand, but just the formation was
just didn't get the right
at the start of the season, we wouldn't have known. I think we're now getting to a stage where Slavisa is knowing his set of 11. Hopefully.
So over the international break, we hope that kicks in.
Well, look, I know West Ham lost on Friday night, but if you look at West Ham, Pellegrini worked on what he knew would work.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know they're set up to beat big teams. Like, that's the way That's the way Pellegrini is set up. But I think he works on a team in the international break, and then they start playing better. I think Stad needs to do the same.
Yeah. Excellent. Right. Well, that's probably about all we've got time for. We've been the Fulhamish boys here at the Old Suffolk Punch on the Fulham Palace Road. Please do come down here. We're here pre and post every home game, so come in and say hello. Please let us know what you think of these videos. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. But let us know what you think of our thoughts and where we can look to talk about after the next game at home, which is Bournemouth, I believe.
Oh yes, the Cherries.
Yeah, the Cherries are at home, so we'll see how we get on there. Good luck to all of you and all of us travelling to Cardiff. We'll see you there. Make sure you say hello. This has been Dom Betts.
Hello.
This has been Farrell Monk.
Gracias.
I've been Jack Collins. This has been Fulhamish's Full Time. See you later. Come on, Fulham.